Last week, we delved into the vital topic of the UHAS SRC Constitutional Review. This week, we would be looking at how important or unimportant this constitution is to the students' body. Do stay with us. Good evening and welcome to the panel with me, Precious Mimshach. Today I'm being joined by amazing people just like we had last week. I have with me in the studio Miss Esther Chira. Yes. Did I get that? Yes. Miss Esther Chira. Chira. Yes. Okay, Miss Esther Chira. She is the NUGS secretary, yes, and a good debater for the school. I would also be joined via Zoom by Mr. Mauklenam Yevu, the former SRC PRO, and Mr. Sam Joseph, the former Hokwe Provincial President. Thank you for joining me, beautiful. Thank you. And whoever will be coming. All right, so without wasting much time, let's delve into the topic. So I don't know if you watched last week's show or you happened to chance upon it anywhere.
I chanced upon it, but I couldn't watch it.
If you didn't watch it, okay. So last week we were talking about the SRC Constitutional Review, what went into it and all that. So we had a committee member for the review here with us. We also had Mr. Ken. I think he is also running for SRC presidential position this time around. And we had other people joining us via Zoom. But today we would want to look at how important this constitution is to us, the students. Is it good or is it harmful? How is, in the long run, how is it going to help the student body?
So let's take it like this, right?
Okay.
So the first thing that you have to know is that we don't set constitution for it to harm people.
All right.
Yes. So a constitution is like a guide for every institution, and any institution without a constitution is like lawless.
Very true.
Yes, so the first address I'll give on that is that it's not harmful.
Okay.
Right. Then as we go on, maybe we could justify why it's not harmful to the
So you are assuring the student's body, those who are going to be governed by the constitution, that this is not going to harm them anyway, so they should not be alarmed at all.
Yes. Okay. So what I mean that is not harmful is that the document constitution or the ideology of a constitution is not bad.
Okay, but the person who will handle it.
Yes, people who handle constitution and how it's interpreted is also a factor.
Okay.
So if you are somebody who abides by the constitution and understand the constitution, you realize that there is that room for changes when the time comes.
Okay.
Yeah, but however, the baseline is that constitution is not something that is harmful, and it's good for leadership, especially student politics and any other political leadership, because you can't govern an organization or a country without
that would be an unstructured system.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Miss Esther. So I don't know if you've seen the reviewed constitution.
Okay, I have seen it, but I haven't gone through deep to the end.
Okay, can you tell us some of the review stuffs you chanced upon?
Okay, what I know is about, I'll say my thought for the NUGS.
Okay.
Right? So for NUGS, currently we have the president being part of the parliamentary setting. That is, the president is entitled to a membership in the parliament, and all other NUGS executive being supportive. So when we go to the parliament, it is the president of NUGS who has the entitlement or the power to make decisions for the entire NUGS organization.
Okay.
So on that, I have a fair idea. And also concerning how our funds are being disbursed as a NUGS organization on a comparative to the SRC. The SRC is supposed to give us 15% approval funds for us to run our things that we do as NUGS body. So I think that's where I'll be interested in Yeah. Aside that, they've specifically defined roles for every office that any student would like to occupy,
Okay.
fairly explained for clarity's sake.
Fairly explained.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
So, with the fairly explained, is it giving every student the opportunity to aspire
yes,
for those?
yes, yes. It's giving every student opportunity to aspire, but there is this part, the academic qualification part,
Okay.
that some students say it's problematic. Yeah,
Okay. And the standard
because
is too high.
yes, you have to get I think 3.0 up
All right.
for federal positions and for provincial positions, and for NUCs. For presidency is the same, but
Okay.
for other positions, at least 2.5 is fine. But the argument some people are making out of it is that, leadership is not ruled by somebody's academic
Yeah.
qualifications. If the person has the leadership traits, the person automatically deserves that. But the other side of the story is, let's be realistic. We are in UHAS, okay? We appreciate the stress, the academic stress that we are going through. So for you to be able to come to the top and say, I want to combine politics with my academics, if you're not in a good standing, it means that you are putting yourself at risk. And I
Yes.
think in that sense, I would say
That rule is fair. It's
yes,
okay.
it's protecting you more than trying to shield you from getting into your leadership
Shaping.
positions that you claim
Wow.
you want to exploit.
Wow.
And also, it's not only compulsory that entitling yourself to an SRC position or a NUX position makes you a leader.
Okay.
That's the first thing people don't understand. But if the competition becomes so tough, people see it that they self-actualize when they get there. So, in my opinion, I think it's cool.
It's cool.
Yes.
Yes. So my viewers, Miss Esther is saying that that criteria needed for getting any leadership position in the school, it's a good and a fair one. If anything, the Constitution is protecting you other than destroying you because your academic roots are not strengthened. So leaving that aside and coming to focus on leading a large group of people could do you more harm than good.
Yes.
Moreover, we are in an academic institution. If you are probably a doctor and nurse and you want to go in for promotion, it is your work they will see to award you whatever you want to be awarded. So since we are in an academic field, they will also look at your academic prowess before and your academic standing before you be awarded or given any position to run. I think I've summarized
Yes,
what
you
you're
have.
trying to say.
You have.
Okay.
Yes. Notwithstanding, I want to say that it is not the yardstick to
Okay.
determine a true leader.
Leader. Okay.
Yes, a lot of people qualify for that position by virtue of the academic qualifications, but then they perform really badly when they come into office. So if you're somebody who is unfortunately affected by that situation, it doesn't change the fact that you can contribute your quota to the system as an individual. So that is what I want to also add on to that. Yeah. Thank you.
Alright. Okay, so we have with us Sam Joseph joining us via Zoom. Hello, Sam.
Yeah, hello.
Good evening, and you are welcome to the panel.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We just got started. We were talking about the SRC Constitution, how good or harmful it is. Miss Esther has established the fact that though Constitution is put together to harm the body which it is supposed to protect. So we're just talking about that and some factors or constituents of the Constitution. She was just telling us more about it. Example is the criteria that is used in picking leaders. A very valid instance is the GPA system, that you need some GPA and above to get to a leadership position. She was explaining that it is more to the interest of the student who is vying for a position than to destroy the student. So we're just talking about that basically. Thank you for joining us once again. All right. So what can you also say about the SRC Constitution, is it good? Is it going to pose some very serious problems in the near future?
Okay, thank you uh, for the opportunity to present here. And I would stand on already existing protocols so that we just move to the point. So, with the UHAS Constitution and Constitution in general, is being made okay to suit the needs of time. So, the conversation about whether the UHAS Constitution is doing more harm than good or doing good would be highly dependent on the status quo and the situation that we are discussing. So it's even in the constitution that it needs to be amended, it needs to be changed. So currently, I would say that the constitution is doing its best, but as needs of people do change and as different tangents comes in and different paradigms comes in, there is a need for the constitution to also be updated. So the constitution is simply like the culture of an individual or the culture of a society and the norms, what they are supposed to do and don't, and the guidelines. So as people change, as new things evolve and stuff, there is also a need for the constitution to change. But in summary, the constitution is a good piece. It's a good piece because of the intention behind the constitution is to protect the rights and promote inclusive governance. So the constitution is a good piece. But as to whether there are some kind of challenges with it and stuff, that is a discussion for another.
And Miss Esther are basically saying the same thing. Constitutions are good. One thing Miss Esther said is those who handle it may be the ones to pose a problem. But that's also a discussion for another day.
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to ask both of you, what recent developments or um, issues do you think this revised constitution should specifically address? Maybe over the past um, years, or since you've been in the school. Mr. Sam, what do you think the constitution should specifically address?
Okay. Um, there are few provisions in the constitution that I think should be relooked at, and
Okay.
it's not because of anything, but because of the experiences that we've had over the period of time. I hope you are getting me. Yeah. So um, one of the popular things that we are hearing is the fact that the campuses. So it's something that everyone is talking about. I hope you are getting it. And whether there's a fair representation, people feel that students from other campuses, I would use here other campuses and main campus. When I say main campus, I'm talking about the campus with the seat of the administration. I hope you are getting it. That is for clarity. And main campus represents campuses like satellite campuses. So I have engaged individuals and people have engaged me on the subject of fair representation that the constitution doesn't clearly state, and it serves as a disadvantage to other people from other campuses. So what I have come to realize and what I think should be done is that the constitution should be tightened. And secondly, to that brings us to
Okay.
should be
The
tightened. should be tightened. It should be a little bit. It's too loose and ambiguous. Also, the with our elections. So for the past few years, we've been hearing that you have students, we do like litigations and we do like court cases and appeals and a whole lot. Personally, I feel that such processes are necessary for the growth of our democracy. I hope you are getting it. If you feel that you've been ill-treated or something, you have the right. But in as much as you have the right, the procedural processes should be clearly defined by the Constitution. I hope you are getting it. What the grounds on which this and that and that. And I feel that our present Constitution is ambiguous about it. So those are the few things that I'm looking for, that the Constitution would be tightened a little so that all those things can be addressed.
People, when aspirants lose elections and they go for a run and all that, it's not bad to go for a run, like you said. But you see, last year like this, there was this court issue that came that it was supposed to be a rerun. No, it was supposed to be an argument or a case between the federal president,
Okay.
But it ended up affecting all aspirants who
Okay.
got their offices, through the elections. So what happens is that I'm an aspirant, I buy forms, 300 cedis or more. Then I get the position. Then you send the entire case to court to halt everything. Then afterwards, if we are supposed to do everything all over again, it means that I am affected by your quest to get justice, right?
Okay.
So in that regard, then I would also concord with Honorable Sam Joseph that we should strategically revise our constitution in that regard.
Okay.
As to the processes that you would have to go through in case there's a situation like that.
Okay.
And what I want to also say is that it's not necessarily about amendment of the constitution, but I'm very particular about the kind of people who hold offices.
Okay.
Yes, because UHAS system, if I'm supposed to be honest with you, I think a lot of people don't really care about politics in general. And if you take a general survey in UHAS, I like to attend a lot of programs in UHAS, but you realize that it is for programs like seminar, leadership, politics, students don't care.
The attendance
Even
is
if it's
poor.
entertainment, attendance is still poor. It should tell you the level of interest
Challenge
students
behavior.
have. So it's sad, maybe when we organize a program, we have to get a lot of outsiders more than even
Yes,
our own
students.
people. It should tell you that our people are not really interested in this kind of politics. It doesn't make it nice. It doesn't make it tough. It doesn't make the competition as it's supposed to be. So then everybody is at liberty. If the person checks GP and is fine, let me go for it. Yeah. So if people are really oriented with this political system, if you are going for a chief justice, you know that I'm going for a chief justice because I am abreast with the legal system.
Okay.
And I'm coming to deliver my part. So then if somebody comes within the SRC, if there is a legal issue, you are having the capacity to address it. If you are going for a federal president, you have the capacity to be a federal president. If you're going for a NUC secretary, you have the capacity to go. If people really understand that structure, it will reduce a lot of issues like this in status quo. And concerning the amendment too, I think the aside the main campus, Ohio campus is always struggling with getting their space in the system. Yeah. So when you compare other schools like King University, which having other campuses like Obuasi, what they do is that they have that separate system, even though it's under the main system. So they also have their liberty to have their own parliamentary structures and stuff,
Okay.
then combined together.
Wow.
In that way, what is going to happen is that we are going to also have a fair side from both parties,
From both
so that it shouldn't be like majority of everything that's happening
It's coming
is
from
coming
here.
from the main campus and leaving the other people behind.
Okay.
So I think that is what I, in my opinion, would like to be added or would like to be looked into, right? Thank you.
Okay, so last week, both of you were not here, Mr. Sam and Miss Esther. We had a very, very hot argument concerning this campus something. So to cut it, like to brief all that happened last week, those who are reviewing the constitution, they are trying to merge the two campuses and just get representatives at the Hohwe campus. And I don't support the idea. And from what you have shared and what Mr. Sam has shared so far, already the system is not helping Hohwe campus, if I got you right.
Yes.
And now they are trying to dissolve the Hohwe system, like presidential system, Wukom system, and rather get representatives, like government representatives there. What do you have to say about this?
Okay.
Looks like you already disagreed, but I want you to
Yes.
hammer on it more.
This is purely according to the program title says it's like a debate panel discussion something.
Yes.
So this is what I'm saying is purely my opinion.
Okay.
Yes. If somebody disagrees with it, that's
fine.
perfectly fine.
That's fine.
Yes. So in my opinion, I don't think we should have representative.
Okay.
Right. Unless, well, I understand their arguments because Hohoi campus is School of Public Health.
Yes.
It is not a different institution
On its
or a
own.
suburb of UHAS. Okay.
And more of the schools are here.
Yes. So it's just like School of Medicine at Trafalgar and medical molecular biology
Okay.
and all those the MBMB people, they been at
PEM site.
PEM site. So the analogy becomes okay. We are giving MBMB people a different set of parliament because they are isolated at Sokode.
Okay.
But that is not what is happening.
All right.
Because in as much as the proximity is there, the general overview is that they are still part of the school.
Exactly.
So then in that regard, I will side with them.
Okay.
But realistically too, the issue is looking at how the people truly suffer when they are, when they even want to come for programs.
Wow.
And how their leaders also try, a lot of them are isolated sometimes from these kind of things. So on a wider view, we can give them that liberty to do that. But like I said, it's my opinion.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that it should be put in practice. Or
So you want the current structures to rather be improved upon,
yes,
not eliminated.
no, we can't dissolve it.
Thank you. Mr. Sam, you have been the former president, provincial president for Hogwe. What do you have to say about this?
So I would start from a tangent where you have made us aware of what happened during the last discussion.
Okay.
Um, um, I want to issue a disclaimer.
All right.
Yes, and what I want to put across is that I'm a member of the Constitutional Review Committee, and we've had, yes, myself, I'm a member, and we've had several discussions and stuff. You see, this is how the Constitutional Review Committee works. We are an extension of the Executive Committee. I hope you are getting it. The Executive Committee. And our reports and our findings will be directed to the Executive Committee. What decisions we take and all the resolutions we pass, do you understand? They are not cast in stone. Yes, so the discussion is another way to do it better. And let me explain the problem. Let me explain the problem vividly well. You see, so this is the system. Hohoi, okay, doubles as a province or a campus and also as a school. When you say Hohoi as a school, Hohoi is not a school. Hohoi is a campus, and there are different. The School of Public Health is found on the Hohoi campus. It's different as treating Hohoi campus as a mere school. The difference is that we have separate administrative body. I hope you are getting it. And sometimes our dean even outworks in his capacity. If I say that there are some administrative burden on the Hohoi campus, if you are citing an example of, let's say, School of Medicine on Sokode campus and other campuses, it's really understandable because you have a central administration where all these schools are interconnected. I hope you are getting it. But when it comes to the Hohol campus, it's serving as a satellite campus with its own administrative body. I hope you are getting it. And it also doubles or it houses the School of Public Health.
Sam,
So if
Mr.
hello,
Sam, please, not to cut it short, but I'm really not hearing you, so I'll get back to you. Is that okay? All right, thank you. So, Miss Esther, we can proceed. What can you say can be done to encourage females? Okay, we are shifting a bit from the constitution because it looks like there's a whole lot involving the constitution that we have to get clarity about. But when it comes to the electoral process, what do you think can be done to encourage more females and minorities students to get involved?
Okay, so
Not to cut you, but you already mentioned that the student populace is not interested. They are not enthused about the politics, about events and all that. But what do you think can be put in place by the authorities, the SRC, you those holding the leadership position? What can you do? You are a female. How would you empower us?
wow. When it comes to leadership, I don't see a man in a female.
Okay.
So it's like this afternoon I was having a discussion with a friend. We saw a military lady among about 6 men at the back of the car. They were going for patrols.
Okay.
And the guy said he wouldn't allow his wife
To be a military.
to be a military lady if he was a military man.
Okay.
So I raised the argument that, you see, when you're a lady and you decide that I want to be a military lady, it means that you throw away that mindset of you being a minor,
Okay.
then assume full responsibility as a major going in for what you really want. I think that is what ladies want naturally. Every lady wants to possess what she truly wants in life. If you are not able to reach that goal for everything that you do, you cease to exist as a human. This is quite deep.
Yeah.
Yes, but that is how I want to put it.
Okay.
So if deep down your heart you see some trait of leadership in you or something little in you that you think you have to pursue, there should be nothing that should stop you.
All right.
Cyclical changes, emotional changes, all other changes, academic pressure, any other thing is secondary if that is what you truly want. I just think women should have the courage to pursue their goals.
I don't want to.
And that fear is something that everybody should get it out.
Okay.
If you don't have the confidence to have control over what you truly want, you cannot achieve anything, even with your bachelor's degree. At the end of the day, if you're a nursing student, you're called to justify your thesis.
Yeah.
If you're a School of Medicine student, you go to the ward and you'll be asked to present a case. That is, those little things matters. So if you truly want to achieve whatever you want to achieve, I think you should let go of the fear have control over it. That is what I want to tell the ladies.
So before you get any empowerment, you have to empower yourself.
Yes, it is a self-analysis. I cannot come on stage and come and preach to you, and you can do it.
Yeah.
Yes, those things are there. I mean, it works. But if you don't do the self-introspection, right? You don't do the self-introspection and know that this is what I can do, and measure it, it's very, very difficult for you to do anything. And I must say that when it comes to the subject of leadership, it varies. It's not just about sitting behind the cameras, holding the microphones on stage. There are so many things that constitute leadership that we can do, right? So if you find yourself doing something best, that is where your breakthrough is going to come from. And I think you should pursue it. So that's what I have to say for any lady. And you should stop seeing yourself as, I am a lady, so I can do this, I can do that. Yes. When you assume certain office or certain position, there's that leverage that you should put yourself at. Yeah.
Wow. We have the new secretary speaking to us. So please, all the empowerment you need is from within, right?
Yes.
It begins with you before anyone comes to push you. You are the current new secretary. It means after this election, your tenure is over. So please, what position are you going for? You want to keep it low key for now.
So for me, I don't think my goal is not I'm from one position then I'm going to the other. That's not my goal. My goal is to always be on stage.
Okay.
As in hold a microphone, speak.
Okay.
So, and I've realized that it doesn't come by just knowing people. You have to do the background works. You have to get your degrees for it. If you really want to do a public relations something, you have to get a degree or something in it. So that is what I'm looking at after my tenure of office, and probably if I'm able to graduate from UHAS. Yes, that is what I want to do. I want to do anything that would
Put you on the stage.
Yes, that would give me the power, the qualification to speak. So that is what I'm looking at. Yeah.
You've still not answered my question.
No, I just said I am not thinking of jumping into another.
Okay,
path.
so you are not going to another part,
I don't
position of
know.
power.
I don't know.
Okay,
What I know is
finalized
that I am going to do something to better myself.
Okay.
If the need arise for me to be in power,
You
again,
will.
why not?
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. That's nice. TikTok. We are waiting to rally behind you. Anyways, we have Mr. Sam Joseph back. Hello, Sam.
Yeah, hi.
All right. Thank you for joining us back. Sorry, there were some technical hitches, so that's why I couldn't hear you clearly. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, you are audible enough.
All right. So can you continue what you were talking about? You were explaining to us, you were trying to give some disclaimers and all concerning the provincial system and whatever the constitutional review team or committee is working on. Please, we are really interested in hearing that.
Yes. So, with what I said earlier, I was trying to make us appreciate the Hohoi province better. Having served as its leader and also having engaged few stakeholders, you would understand that the Hohoi campus is treated in a certain way as just a school. Then, in a larger sense, giving responsibilities of a campus. And this is very evident when it comes to the student leadership. So with SRC programs, for instance, um, you would be shocked that the province would have to um, organize their separate SRC programs, which comes with, and the division would be based on, okay, it's just one school, this is just 6 schools. So the 6 schools should take, let's say, 90%, or let's say 80% or 70%. Then Hohoi just being one school should take this because they are just one school. But you forget that with administration, it's not done like that. It's done per campus. So I'm not saying that we need to split it 50-50, But I'm saying that sometimes we need to appreciate the fact that it's an administrative body on its own with other things to do. And it all boils down to the need for the constitution to be very clear on the roles and responsibilities of a campus. You understand? So that it wouldn't be treated like just a school. I hope you are getting what I'm trying to say. And in my subsequent discussion, I would reiterate and extend on that, and we would all appreciate it better. Um, my fellow panelists also talked about the fact that most UHAS students are not interested in anything SRC, and their participation and attendance is very low. And that is the truth. But you see, sometimes too, I feel that things can be done in the right way. And I'm also stating it on the fact that I have also been involved and I've had a few feel of such processes. You see, majority of us are science students, and that is a fact. Majority of students in UHAS are science students. And you see, with science students, we have been conditioned in certain ways. If even way back in SHS, you would see the participation and the excitement, the rejuvenation comes from the art students, the business. They were really into this governance and stuff. And you, the science students, because of the workload and also the things you need to learn and all those classes and all those trainings, you were conditioned to be everything academic. I hope you understand the thing. So it's incumbent on the SRC to identify this thing and do more education. You see, and it still boils down to the constitution. So this constitutional review is a very powerful thing. And if it goes on well, that means that we are going to have a new facelift in our SRC. But if it doesn't, then it means that we are going to have repetitive problems that we've already identified and we can't have solutions to it. So I believe that the judicial arm of governance or of government is very powerful and they owe the student body um, constant education on their involvement and they need to involve themselves. When this educational campaign is being strengthened, we mostly see the judicial council and the judicial being really active during petitions and stuff. But I feel that even right from the onset, we can have these forums, these workshops, advising the students and educating them on the need to have a social cohesion. I hope I'm audible and you are getting where I'm trying to.
Yes, yes, we get you.
Yes. So when very good. So you let the students own the leadership. You see, most students don't even get parliamentary proceedings. You see, and it makes it like it's a tradition. Most students really don't get involved in general assembly meetings. You see, and it's like, well, the SRC, it's a far-fetched idea. You only become interested if you want to occupy a position. You only get a copy of the constitution if you want to check whether you fulfill the requirement for you to be voted for. But that shouldn't be the case. So right from level 100, if we want students to be involved, if we want students, and even study shows that it's the level 100s that do vote more. The level 300, 400s, other people, they rarely even come out to vote. They rarely even. So it's also good. And whilst we are having this discussion, I'm taking notes on some of the things that you are recommending. So I really appreciate the other panelists mentioning this social cohesion and students being involved in this. I think when we get more students involved in the SRC, most of the problems and most of the things we are encountering now wouldn't even be there in the first place. So those are the few things that I would want to draw attention on. As time goes on, I may be uh, coming in to make other points better.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sam, for sharing. You've really said a lot, but as time goes on and on other panel discussions, you would discuss or you would expand these points for us more because you happen to be on the review committee, right?
Yes, please, I do.
Okay, so as time goes on, we'll need a lot of education, the students' body, we those on the panel, will need more education on that. Thank you so much for sharing. All right. I thought you had left us. Okay, so we will be closing today's discussion very shortly. But before we leave, Mr. Sam and Miss Esther, you raised a concern about how consecutively there have been issues after every election.
Yes.
There's either a litigation. Mr. Sam, you also mentioned that there's either a court case or something, there is an issue, and that can affect the whole electoral process or even other executives that were elected into position. What do you people think the SRC and the authorities can do, collaboratively do, to solve this issue? There will be an SRC election soon. What do you think can be done to prevent it from happening again?
Yes. So I was thinking about the senior management involvement in our student politics, and I think from the onset of our administration, this year's administration, the vice chancellor has done a good job. The first thing that she did was to meet all of us as students, politicians or student leaders. Then she tried to ask us to be able to give some ideas or be able to bring out some of the things that we are willing to do and how best we can do it. Okay. So she further on gave us an advice about how things should go as leaders, right?
Okay.
So I think it's very important that we should learn from the senior team, senior management.
Okay.
Because if you look at somebody like Professor Lydia, she looking at her style of leadership and the way she's trying to evolve and then make everybody get, she comes to the lowest level of every student to make every student understand and appreciate the essence of everything that she's doing. I think that's what we have to adapt.
Exactly.
You understand? Sometimes things will not always go in your way. But I think the reason why, aside the legal issues, that people are trying to criticize the Constitution and the fact that it didn't work well for the election process, aside that, I think people have that personal pain of losing an election and then considering the investments that the person has done. It's hard. It's hard to just accept.
Let's go.
Yes, it's very hard to just accept it and let go. So at the expense of that, then sometimes maybe I would like to pull it a bit.
Okay.
But we should remember that we are one people.
Yes.
No matter what you do, somebody is going to take it up.
Okay.
Yes. It doesn't speak well of us as a university, if I may honestly say, because for a
Year
young
after year.
yes,
Year
for
after
a young university like us, who is the only health institution, I think we should set a good record and make people understand that health or the science student ideology is not only about book, it's about correct and effective leadership. So it is something I'm pleading to the whole student populace that this year's election, anybody who put up the courage to pick a form should be aware that anything can happen.
Okay.
In as much as the person is criticizing the Constitution and legally going by things, we should look at the bigger picture and the image that is put in there as a university. So that's what I have to say.
Wow. I really like my panel today. Miss Esther comes from a very strong leadership point of view, and Mr. Sam also gives us a lot of analysis. I really enjoyed today's panel discussion. So for the students for please, like Miss Esther said, you should know that if you are coming to pick a form for any position, know that anything can happen. anything at all. But apart from that, I also want to add to it that those handling the constitution, those going to go about the whole electoral process, please, it should be transparent, because I don't think someone will just stand up
Yes.
and say that no, I wasn't treated fairly in this election.
That's why I said, you see, everybody, I remember, when I was going through my vetting, I really
Okay.
felt personal with some of the panel. Yes, I felt like they were so much on me. And
Hey.
yes, Honorable Sam George was on the panel at
Okay.
that time. I really felt, he asked me certain questions, right? Why is he asking me? But at the end of the day, we all still come together to make it better.
Yes.
And I appreciate the fact that maybe he asked me that question and I couldn't take it on with saying, okay, this is against this, this is against
Okay.
that. You understand? In this country, right, people people go through legal means to steal, but it's
Okay.
still legitimate. I don't know if you get it.
I get you.
So the fact that you're using a legitimate means to justify your cause doesn't make it right. Always. Okay.
Yes.
So you should be mindful of that too. That in as much as you might use the law to say and win,
Okay.
go for a run and everything. Sometimes maybe that is not how it is. So I'm not saying their decision is wrong or something.
No,
I'm just
not at all.
giving a clear picture that
Yeah.
anybody should give a second thought about. Yeah.
Exactly. So she's just giving a clear picture that anyone should give a second thought about anything happening. The possibility of anything will happen. So the two points, the one going in for the position, that's my point of view, the one going in for the position, and those handling the whole electoral process. Let's all be fair. Let's all know that anything can happen. And we should prevent this whole issue from happening. And like she said, the junior authorities, as in the SRC and those involved in the electoral procedure, should learn from the senior citizens, the VC and others in the leadership, if I got you right, Esther.
Yes.
Yes, so you should learn from them. It is the elders we can learn from, so if we can, I think you should go see the elders for advice, the VC, learn from how they are handling things. They come down to the student level to understand them, and you are going to lead. Anyone who will be going, the candidates, you are going to lead. So come down to the student level and understand the people you are going to lead and understand that anything is possible. Mr. Sam.
Hello.
All right. Can you also add your voice to what has been shared?
Okay, so I'm still of a strong view that the Constitution creates the framework for everything. And I would want to reiterate the fact that this constitutional review, if the next 5 years is going to go well for the SRC, it's from this constitutional review. And if it's going to be another cycle of whatever we are facing now, it's also going to be from this constitution. So I'm using this opportunity to advise and implore the student populace that they should get involved. We have released phone numbers, uh, emails, and other means that you can get and share your idea with us. You see, we are a representation of the student body. So it's the students that would know and give us first-hand experience of how the governance is. It's not much about the leader or the leader's perspective, but it's about the grassroots, what is being experienced there. You see, and the leader is just a reflection of the people he serves. So if your leader is a bad leader or your leader is not doing well, you should know that he was chosen among this cohort of people. You see, so it's hard, and it's true, it's practical. You see, it's high time we own responsibility and we stop pushing the blame to the leaders. And I'm not saying that in defense of any leader, but I'm just trying to say that when you get involved, when you know your business, when you take it as a responsibility to read and communicate what you feel, most of the problems would be solved. Now to the court cases that happens in at the end of every election. I believe that there's nothing wrong with it. Ideally speaking, it's even progress. You understand? And that should tell you how student leaders, I don't want to use the word student politician because of how tainted the name sounds. But you see, I believe as student leaders, if you are firm and you are able to channel your grievances in the right way, and of course, filing petitions and litigations, that is the right way, other than promoting violence. So it's still incumbent on our judicial system and the constitution, for that matter, to spell out what we mean by electoral misconduct, what we mean by free and fair. You understand? Because in as much as we are in um, this, we don't have a perfect world. No perfect world exists, but the constitution should state what constitutes what and what you need to do, so that at the end of the day we don't waste anyone's time and we don't look like we are people with so many grievances and every time there. Because mind you, if it goes on again, you would see that the next administration would have their time taken off and they wouldn't start the administration at the right time. And you see that there will be backlogs. And when it happens like that, they would have pressure on them to execute their policies. And it's going to eat into we, the students, that we are being governed. If your president is supposed to do this and because of time constraint, he's not able to implement that policy, you, the student, you're not benefiting. And it all boils down to the constitution and our participation. So what I'm preaching here is a world where students would be involved. I'm really passionate about it. And if the SRC in their last final piece would roll out a program where they would take the constitution on and educate every student about the need to make the constitution accessible, like a Bible, you see. And when we have conversations around the constitution, then the aspirant himself would know what on the grounds to which he or she is sending or filing a case. But I feel that we are mostly ignorant and we feel that, okay, when this is done, that means that I am not fairly treated. So I have the right to petition and all those things. I feel when the conversation is centered about the constitution stating clearly, not in an ambiguous term, that when you do this, you violated this. When you do this, you violated that. When you do this, you should first file a case with the EC. So when it happens like that, you wouldn't be in court and you hear that an aspirant is aggrieved and has sent the EC to court without even letting the EC know. The EC being an independent body responsible for the process, you wouldn't let the EC know that this is what is wrong. Do it. So it's like, okay, I'm waiting. We are doing something wrong and I'm a stakeholder. I'm waiting. If it doesn't go by my side, then I'll sue you. But if it goes by my side, hallelujah. You see, that becomes sort of negligence on our side. So I would still
Exactly.
advise the student body to get involved. Get a copy. We have online copies of the Constitution. Get involved, read it, ask questions, and everything will go on well.
So much, Mr. Sam. Also, soon we'll be closing the
Thank you.
curtains on today's discussion. But before we leave, Mr. Sam, can you give us any last words? Please, 1 minute for you. Oh, sorry, we've lost Mr. Sam, but Miss Esther, any last words for us?
Yes, let me look into the camera. So I have been nominated as the.
Okay, we've got Mr. Sam back.
Yes. So
Okay.
Okay, so we are currently running the NUX elections and no NUX nominations. We've closed the nominations, but then this is the stage of the voting process. So a lot of people have been nominated. Personally, I have been nominated as a student MC.
Okay.
And I want everybody to vote for me, to be honest. I really deserve it. Not to blow my horns, but I've worked hard for this. I just want you to help me. 50 pesos, just 50 pesos vote. And who knows where I'll end. Yes, I'm just begging everybody to vote for me and vote for your friends. So I'm taking this opportunity to also tell everyone that Nooks Dinner is coming this year and it's going to be very bigger and better. Everybody gets enough food, entertainment, enjoyment, everything. I can assure you 100%. So I just want you to be there. Come and enjoy and have. Thank you.
Wow, that is a very good way to take advantage of last week, don't you think so? But in all, let's all rally behind Miss Esther, vote for her student MC. In fact, if you've not seen her MC before, look how she talked on this show. So rally behind her, vote for her, 50 pesos per vote. If you want to vote 50 votes, that's a little bit awesome. So thank you so much for joining us for today's panel discussion. We come your way again next week. Have a good evening.